Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and welcome back to the world of Rome 2 Total War. In today's battle, we have a 2v2, and it comes down to a very close finish. So I hope you guys do enjoy, and without further ado, let's take a look at the army comps. The first attacking army on the battlefield today is Bactria, commanded by Tattoos and Welding, and Bactria is kind of the odd faction out in this battle, as you will see, but it's good to see that the Greeks did show up because these boys are looking especially flashy today. We've got the Bactrian Royal Guard over here on the far right-hand flank. He's got 2 units of them. And then he's divided the rest of his forces between 2 little groups. In the middle here, he's got 2 units of the Thurio Spears and 2 units of the Thorax Swordsmen. I'll turn on the HUD here so you guys can see the stats of these two. But the Thorax Swordsman, the bread and butter of any Greek army. We've also got the Indian War Elephant back here, the Armored Indian War Elephant, so that is his general. And then the main body of his force is over on the left-hand flank. He's got 2 units of the Thurio Spears, 4 units of the Thorax Swordsmen. He's got all of his archers over here, the elite Persian archers. They're going to be pretty deadly in this battle. And last but not least, we have 2 units of the Thorax Pikemen. So that rounds out the Greek army, so let's go ahead and take a look at his ally. The second attacking army on the battlefield today is Suebi, commanded by Dabas 11111, and we're not going to be able to take a look at the entirety of his force because I believe some of them are hidden in this forest just ahead. I know he had a couple units of cavalry, and I don't see them in this army composition, or from what we can see of the army composition, so we'll just take a look at them later on. But from what I can remember, he did have 3 units of Club Levy. You can see them here on the left-hand side. We've also got 2 units of the Round Shield Swordsmen. We've got 2 units of the Woodnaz Spears. And then we get into the meat of his army. He brought 5 units of Swordmasters. You can see 2 here. We've got 2 there. And then the General is also a Swordmaster unit. And then he's also brought 3 units of Berserkers. These guys are going to be very tough to deal with. That is for sure. And he had 4 ranged units, and I can only see the 1 horse runner unit. I believe he had a unit of skirmishers, and then 3 units of archers, but the other ones are probably hidden as we speak. And you can see the sneaky Suebi are already disappearing into the forest. So let's go ahead and take a look at the defending armies, and then we'll get the battle started. The 2 defending armies on the battlefield today are the Barbarian Brothers in Arms, the Nervii, commanded by myself, and the Arverni, commanded by Azrian Fox. And you can see my 2 units of Noble Horse are leaving the city as quickly as they can. They're going to try and find a stand of trees to hide in, and then strike at the unsuspecting enemy when the time is right. But the rest of my forces are scattered about, holding as much of the city as I dare. I've got 4 units of these cheaper fierce swords in the front lines, with also 2 units of Gallic hunters, trying to support them as best as they can. I've also got 2 units of Gallic hunters up on this ridge. I love to put archers up on here because they seem to do quite well for themselves. And then the rest of my forces are split into 2 groups. I've got 4 units of the Guerrilla Swordsmen hiding in this stand of trees just outside the city center. Again, looking to utilize them as a surprise unit and hit the backs of the enemy when they least expect it. And the rest of my forces, the best of the Nervii army, the 3 units of Oathsworn, 2 units of Naked Warriors, and my Oathsworn General are all in the town center. So that pretty much rounds out the Nervii army. For the Arverni army, we've got the Noble Horse General in the front lines. That's the only cavalry unit that Azrian has brought. He brought a couple units of the Savage Dogs, though. I believe 2 or 3 of these. He's brought the Gallic Hunters as well. Very solid archer units for the Arverni. And then he's brought basically just a ton of Oathsworn. I think he has 1 unit of the Celtic Warriors, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units of Oathsworn scattered around the city holding strategic choke points. Here's his other 2 units of Gallic Hunters. And I think that rounds out the Barbarian Defenders. So will they be able to hold in the face of the Bactrian Suebi alliance? Let's go ahead and find out. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, the Bactrians are the first ones to attack. We've got the Thurio Spears already trying to soften up that Oathsworn defense. I'm hoping that the Thorax Swordsmen are going to do the same thing, using their Pila to soften up those Oathsworn before charging in. The Oathsworn is a very dangerous unit, and they could easily take on 2 to 3 units of Thorax Swordsmen. So the Pila really need to do some damage to those Oathsworn before the Thorax Swordsmen charge in. And here we go. It looks like we're going to have the first clash of the battle. There is the volley from the Pila. Yes, doing a decent amount of damage to the Oathsworn. Now, surprisingly, it looks like a lot of the Pila shots have been blocked by the defenses there. We have the stakes actually stopping a lot of those shots, and unfortunately, Tattoos and Welding getting a bit of friendly fire there on the backs of his own Thorax Swordsman units, but now the Pila are being fired overhead at the Gallic Hunters. Let's take a look at what is going on. So the Oathsworn, yes, it looks like they did take a decent amount of damage there. Let me turn on the battle map so you guys can see what's going on. So yeah, 60 men already lost here, so well done to Tattoos and Welding, actually softening up this one expensive unit of very heavy melee infantry. Now, he needs to be conservative here. He can't charge all of his units in at one time. We've also got the Bactrian Royal Guard coming over here as well. He's got 2 units already in the city center. The Suebi are moving up a lot more slowly, and the reason being is because they did manage to find my noble horse, and there is the enemy Suebi cavalry that I was talking to you guys about in the army comps, very sneakily hidden in the forest and have stopped my cavalry charge. So that is really unfortunate. These noble horse are now going to be locked into melee. Now, I believe he has, Germanic Scout Riders. They're pretty garbage, and Riders of the Hunt aren't that good either. But we have a unit of Club Levy coming in to assist, and that is not what I want. I think I will want to try and countercharge. They managed to get a really solid Pila throw off onto the backs of my noble horse. So this is really disastrous for me. This is a very expensive unit of cavalry, or in fact 2 expensive units of cavalry locked into combat now. But the Riders of the Hunt are definitely losing. Even with the infantry moved in to support, it says that they're losing decisively, so that is good. And it looks like the boss is going to have to send in some berserkers as well. Just zipping on over here, you can see that I'm quickly moving over some of my Fierce Swords to battle the Bactrian Royal Guard. The Bactrian Royal Guard over here is already in battle with the Oathsworn. I love the colors of Bactria, the blue, the white, and the red. Probably one of my favorite Greek factions. I'd say second after Macedon. And there we go, the Fierce Swords charging in. Now, they're probably not going to do that well against the Bactrian Royal Guard. These are Royal Guard after all, but it's just about throwing in my weaker units and trying to soften up these elites so that by the time they get to the town center and start battling my Oathsworn, it's a little bit easier for them. I just want to quickly zip over here and see how my cavalry is doing. Yeah, you can see that I disengaged with that cavalry unit, and I just want to try and get a couple of cycle charges in. There we go. Look at that. That is not good. A lot of Pila being thrown at that noble horse unit. That's not ideal. But this unit is pretty healthy, and it is free to do whatever I want. But unfortunately, the boss is on it. He's moving his Germanic Scout Riders into the path of my noble horse and stopping them from getting a solid charge. However, it looks like they're still going to push through and actually charge in to this unit of, is this the Woodna Spears? No, it's Horse Runners. It's his archers over here that are now in danger of being run down by the Gallic Noble Horse. Ooh, this is not good for DeVos, losing 2 units of very elite archers early on like this. Thankfully, my other unit of Noble Horse is holding the Club Levy and Berserkers in place, but they are going to be shredded if they don't get out soon. Noble Horse up to 126 kills. One of the Longbow Hunters is wavering. The other unit of Horse Runners is caught in melee. So, after all, not too bad We've got Germanic Scout Riders starting to waver. This unit of Riders, the Hunt, also starting to waver. So things are slowly turning around here. You can see, again, Noble Horse disengaging from those Berserkers and getting another huge charge with the depleted unit on the backs of the Suebi. Let's zip back over to the other side. The battles are pretty much ongoing all over here. You can see here that we've got the Thorax Swordsman and we've got some Thurio Spears pushing in against this unit of Oathsworn. The Celtic Warriors, the cowards that they are, have already broken, but we do have these Savage Dogs in as well, trying to hold this line. And we do have some more Oathsworn here to guard the town center. Now, it looks like his Gallic Hunters have broken as well. That is not good to see. Surprisingly, this unit of 34 men in this Oathsworn unit are still holding back these units. This is exactly what I said at the beginning of the battle, guys, that these Oathsworn will fight to the bitter end. Even if you have 3 or 4 units mixed in, they will hold their ground. And look at the damage that these units have taken. Thorax Swordsman down to 68. This one down to 83. Thurio Spears down to 90. And this one down to 68. They've got 111 kills to their name. So very, very powerful unit indeed. Now let's zip over here and see how things are going. We've got some of the Round Shield Swordsmen from the Suebi moving in to help the Bactrian Royal Guard. Meanwhile, Azrian Fox has moved some of his Oathsworn in to support me there as well. But these Bactrian Royal Guard are getting absolutely shredded by this Oathsworn unit. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. So yeah, not pushing in just... Oh, actually, we're just in time to see the Suebi, the Wooden Spears, finally pushing into the main part of the city, kind of surrounding my Fierce Swords here a little bit as they push forwards. Now, the Wooden Spears, I believe these are the Wooden Spears. Yes, they are a pretty solid melee unit, I do have to say. Cavalry has finally been wrapped up, so that's good for DeBoss. Taking care of that nicely, except for the fact that I managed to sneak a very depleted unit of Noble Horse away, and I'm going to go after some very tempting targets. You can see that all of the Persian archers here are relatively undefended. I don't see any of the Bactrian... did they bring any cavalry? Actually, maybe they did, and they were hidden? I can't actually remember. However, the Bactrians are really pushing their advantage here. Now the Oathsworn are going to start to suffer over here because we've got some more Bactrians that are going to be charging them in the backs, effectively surrounding this unit and cutting off its retreat. That is not good if you are rooting for the Barbarian defenders. It is looking a little bit dire here. However, we've got the pikemen, which we're trying to push in. They have pulled back in the face of this Oathsworn unit, and the Persian archers are just still volleying. They've got a perfect position here, you can see, and we've also got the Indian War Elephants coming very soon. So this is not looking good for us. I don't know what the balance of power is. It says it's even, but this is not looking very good. We've also got some Thorax Swordsmen over here attacking some of my Fierce Swords in the city streets. However, the Bactrian Royal Guard, just in time to see them being slaughtered. That was the last of them there, fighting to the bitter end. It looks like not many of them are going to escape this battlefield alive. There's one there as well. Whoa. Getting absolutely butchered. Well done, boys. Well done. Let's see how well these Suebi are doing if we turn back on the HUD. So yeah, they pretty much conquered this city center without much of a fuss. I'm actually giving up a lot of territory here because I realize that we are losing so many men. So you can see that Azrian is trying to fall back, and I'm going to try and cover his retreat with these Fierce Swords here. But I think I did see the elephants coming in, and this is where I activate all of my Gallic Hunters. You can see that I brought them up, and immediately the elephants go berserk. This is really bad for Tattoos and Welding, having his elephants berserk amidst his own men. This is where he's going to be causing a lot of friendly fire. We even have the dogs in here as well, disrupting the elephants, maybe causing them to be a bit uneasy as well. And there we go, they are retreating from the battlefield. And they're going to be charging into the enemy cavalry. Now, this is a unit we didn't see in the army comps because it must have been hidden in the trees, but we do have a unit of Hellenic Cataphracts here. And he is coming up over here towards these Gallic hunters, but I was hoping that he wouldn't notice that we have stakes and caltrops here. However, he's a little bit more clever than I gave him credit for, so he is charging into Azrian's unit of Oathsworn over here. But he needs to disengage them. The Hellenic Cataphracts are more a shock unit. You need to be charging in and then pulling out with them immediately. It's all about the charge bonus with those Hellenic Cataphracts. And the Elephants also just continually going berserk. However, they are getting a decent amount of damage dealt on these Oathsworn as they stampede around. Come on, surely after a couple more volleys, they're going to start losing some of their hit points. There we go, too. That Pila throw is definitely deadly for them, and now we're starting to see them fall. That's what I want to see. And once they go berserk, too, they should be getting some kills on these hillmen, which have pushed forwards as well. Kind of the levies of the Bactrian army. And they're actually going to be able to push past these caltrops and get into battle with the fierce swords at the town center. The rest of the elephants are blocked on the stakes. Let's go ahead and see what's going on the other side of the battlefield here. So yeah, I'm easily being overwhelmed by the Suevi. It's not looking good for me. A lot of my fierce swords, their retreat to the town center was cut off by the sword masters, and we are just being butchered here. Every kill animation you see is a sword master butchering one of my fierce swords. Oh, come on. There's another one. Yep. Just absolute slaughter. It doesn't help that we've got some of these Suevi in behind my lines as well. Some of them are just throwing their weapons down and booking it, trying to run for the hills. Unfortunately, they're going to be running right into the eastern cataphracts here. Don't know where they're going, but it looks like they may be going to get a charge onto these Oathsworn. Let's actually see this. This is going to be an awesome charge. Except, did they break? No, they haven't broke, so yep, they still should get a disgusting charge off on those Oathsworn. Oh, yes. Just obliterating pretty much the entire unit there with that charge. Well done to the Bactrians. Yep. There we go. Oathsworn have routed, and they have just shattered. They are off the battlefield. So we're already pushed pretty much to the town center, as you can see. I'm desperately holding with one unit of fierce swords, and I realize how desperate our situation is right at the last minute, and I start to push some of my Oathsworn here to block this gap. And there we go. We've got the dogs just charging down the hills as well. That was absolutely epic. You could barely see them in the grass as they charge down the slopes to support my brothers. And that's going to give them just enough time for my Oathsworn to form up. And there we go, getting some excellent Pila throws into the Woodna spears. Very nice. Let's see what's going on the other side here. The Bactrian Warlephants are still alive, but here we go. This is where I activate my Guerrilla Swordsmen, just flanking around the Thorak Pikemen. You can see that they're shaken, and they're totally out of position at this point. I've got another unit which is being run down by the elephants, which is unfortunate, but I'm just trying to get my units into melee as quickly as possible. I've got another unit of Guerrilla Swordsmen hurrying around the flank, but just like that, because of those Guerrilla Swordsmen and the help from my Naked Warriors, we managed to stabilize this position rather quickly. And we've also got the Suevians over here having to help the Bactrians, because the Bactrians are starting to lose a lot of men in their endeavor to reach the town center. In fact, they are still unsuccessful in breaching the town center on this side. I believe that's the Persian archers they have broken. Oh, sorry, that's the Thorak pikemen. And just look at this wave of naked swords and guerrilla swordsmen charging around the Bactrian flank. We do have a unit of Thorak pikemen ready to defend. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge for me, but I have to try and pull the pikemen out of position if I am going to attack them.
Get running!
It would be foolish to try and charge these guys head on. And actually, I think that my guerrilla swordsmen have a Pila that they can throw. So yeah, trying to soften them up. And there we go. It looks like the Thorax Swordsmen are going to take the bait and move out of position. This is exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to try and quickly split my Guerrilla Swordsmen, the 2 units, into 2 different locations. And there you go. Oh, wow. There's the Peel a Throw, just obliterating those pikes. Absolutely no mercy there. That was disgusting, and there we go, the Thorax Swordsman charging in, trying to defend the Thorax Pikemen, but now you can see that the Thorax Pikemen are completely out of position. Just like the other one, they will be cut down. Let's zoom into this battle there. Yeah, not an effective phalanx formation there. And there we go. Looks like we got some of the Naked Warriors managing to flank around the Thorax Pikemen, just destroying them with relative ease. That is frustrating for those of you that are rooting for the Greeks. I'm trying to see how many kills they got. There's the Thorax Swordsman. Where's the Pikes? I can't even see them. They're just wiped out. Or are they over here? Here's some Pikes. Only 43 kills for that unit, and you can see that we've got a unit of Swordmasters desperately trying to get over here in time to protect the flank of the Hellenic Cataphracts and the Club Levy Swordmasters and the Bactrian Thorax Swordsmen here. But we've got just a tide of Nervii warriors flanking the attackers. It's so interesting how the flanks just go back and forth between the attackers and the defenders. And the Hellenic Cataphracts just chopping their way through my Naked Warriors. Come on, Barbarians, hold! Good job on Tattoos pulling those Cataphracts out of melee. They need to not be locked down in constant melee. They need to be ready to charge. A lot of them are being caught in behind enemy lines, though, and they are being ripped from their horses. Let's quickly run over here to the town center, where you can see a massive brawl is just about to form. We did have the Woodnaz Spears challenging my Oathsworn, but now we've got the Berserkers coming in. This is going to be very tough for my Oathsworn to deal with. They're already exhausted from cutting down the Woodnaz Spears, but we've got some more troops that are being funneled into this choke point to try and hold. There we go. Come on, men, you can do it. You must hold. You can see the Swaby just slogging their way up the ramp. And unfortunately, the Oathsworn are just being rained down upon by enemy archers as well. Very, very unfortunate that the Noble Horse were not able to take them out early on in the battle. Alright, let's jump over and see what else is going on over here. Yeah, so we've still got the battle going on over here. We should be able to win against these Swordmasters, but they are racking up kills, 300 plus kills on this Swordmaster unit. Over here we've got another Swordmaster unit with 132 kills. Again, it's quality versus quantity here. My Fierce Swords and Naked Warriors aren't going to hold a candle to these Masters of the Sword, so aptly named. And we did have the Hellenic Cataphracts there. I'm desperately trying to chase them down and just pin them in location. They're very weak at this point, so their hit points are basically non-existent. But there we go, getting another charge into the backs of my Naked Swords. No, my Naked boys, get up. There we go. Yes, they're still in the fight, thankfully. They're not breaking yet. But here we go, just another counter charge. Just such a good job by Tattoos and Welding here. Just ping-ponging them back and forth between targets. That's where they're going to rack up their kills. You can see when we looked at them like 10 seconds ago, they were at like 170 kills. They're already up to 264. But I think that is it for the Hellenic Cataphracts there. Yeah, last of them being pulled from their mounts. And that is pretty much the last advantage of that Bactria had on the battlefield wiped out. In fact, I don't think they have anything else on the battlefield at all. With 6 minutes and 37 seconds remaining, it is all down to the Swordmasters. It's down to DeBoss's Swordmasters and his Berserkers. You can see that Azrian Fox has his general over here, but unfortunately, we are not able to really get a solid charge onto the backs of all these troops because we have caltrops and stakes there. So we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot here and almost protected the attackers as they push up this slope. So yeah, Azrian's general really can't come in much help right now. Is that my archers? I do have some archers that are trying to volley the Swordmasters and pare them down, but it is such a tough fight over here. Swordmasters even almost making it to the top of the hill. And now they're retreating again, yeah. That's too funny. They thought they could make it. Oh, and there's one getting slaughtered as he made his way down the hill once again. Now, are they broken completely? They're routing. Oh, no, and we do have Azrian's general here. He needs to quickly pull them away. One of the Swordmaster units is following him. I believe this is actually DeBoss's general. Oh, he's going to try and get a charge off. There we go. Oh, huge hit. And it looks like the Swordmasters were pulled far enough away from the stakes that Azrian didn't lose too many of his units, or too many of his men in his unit, I should say. Yeah, because he's still got 76 out of 80 remaining. So that was a pretty good charge onto the Swordmasters, and I think DeBoss realizes that now, so he's going to just ignore them and push back up the slope with his general. And Azrian Fox has no choice but to sit there and watch. Looking over here, I think we did finally wrap up that one Swordmaster unit. Now we've surrounded this Swordmaster unit, who now is up to 242 kills. If I get a bird's eye view of these guys, you can clearly see that they are fighting completely surrounded. Well, not anymore since these guys are breaking off, but absolutely incredible, these guys. I used to think that Oathsworn were the toughest, I don't want to say Germanic, but like one of the toughest units that the Gallic and Germanic factions could field, but it's not. I think the Swordmasters are way better than the Oathsworn after this battle. Look at that, just fracturing all of my units there. But here we go, Azrian Fox coming in with his general. That was a really solid charge on the wavering Swordmasters. Is that going to be enough to get them to break, though? They did lose quite a bit of men. Yes, they have routed, but not before they routed 3 of my units. Thankfully, 2... This one did come back, and this one, I believe, is rallying. So that is really good to see. I'm quickly going to try and get my units around this side here, because my infantry units aren't going to be affected by the caltrops and the stakes. So now we can surround the Swordmasters and hopefully cut them down. However, you can see that the Berserkers are trying to push for the town center. They are out of control, so I don't think DeBoss has any choice but to watch as the Arverni general comes over here and just slams in to these Berserkers. Here we go, really big charge. Nice job running them down. Those Berserkers just so bloodlusty. And he could try and get a charge down the slopes, but the problem is that my units are actually blocking them. Here we go, some Swordmasters actually charging into my depleted Guerrilla Swordsmen. This is a battle that my swords will 100% lose. And I can still see some of the desperate fighting up there on the slopes. It's pretty much every man for himself at this time. We've got one of the units from the Gallic general coming down. And we've actually got like a 1v1 up here. Let's take a look at this. I love when I can pick out 1v1. What? Oh, they were just like, okay, it's all right, man. Yeah, no, you first. No, you bumped into me. What are you doing? Okay, that's... Oh, yeah, okay, we're good. Here comes the Arverni, though, charging down the slopes. That was a huge hit, actually throwing some of the Swordmasters down in front of us. I don't know if you saw that, but some of those Swordmasters actually got airborne there. incredible job. Azrian tried to do all he can to break these Swordmasters. He's actually up to 54 kills. And look how close this is, guys. This is all that's left. There's nothing left on this battlefield save for 3 units of Swordmasters. I believe it is. Oh no, 2 units of Swordmasters and a Berserker unit. And I've got 1 unit of Oathsworn, and Azrian has his cavalry. And that is it. DeBoss, again, being very smart, actually coming to this side of the stakes and caltrops, almost goading Azrian to charge down the slopes and get his general killed on the spikes. But since we have 49 seconds, I just want to show you guys the carnage that lies on this battlefield, especially on the Bactrian side. Look at the amount of men that died. Just look at all of the dead around this tree, almost ominous. Same thing over here. Huge amount of Oathsworn and Bactrian lives lost in this side of the city, or in the defense of this side of the city, I should say. Over here as well. Just bodies littered absolutely everywhere. But over here, this is where the Nervii paid the ultimate price. This is where most of the nobles of the Nervii tribe have lost their lives. And Azrian, I believe that his general is wavering, and there we go. His general has broken. So let's go ahead and end the replay and take a look at the results. Alright guys, here is the end results screen. So you can see we've got 2,800 and 2,100 fielded for Azrian and I. And then we got 25 and 2,800 fielded between DeBoss and Tattoos and Welding. So they did have a bit of a numbers advantage there. But I had the most kills, which is actually surprising. I would have thought DeBoss with those Swordmasters would have made the most damage. You could see 351, 272, 217 for his Swordmasters. Those are the notable ones. This one with 86 got destroyed. But I guess the rest of his units didn't really get that many kills. But those Swordmasters definitely made up for it in the end. They surely won them the battle. Taking a look at Tattoos and Welding's forces, I eliminated his general early on, so they didn't really get too many kills there. But those Hellenic Cataphracts were a constant nuisance. Also, he did really well with his Persian archers, and I believe the Persian archers just destroyed Azrian's Gallic hunters. They didn't get as many kills. His pikemen, we were able to neutralize them pretty well. You could see, oh, the one still got 221. That is surprising, but the other one only got 56 kills by the end of it. And his thorax swords and thorax spears, some of them getting over 100 kills, but most not. Looking at Azrian's force here, he actually did really well with his Oathsworn. All of them, well, almost all of them getting over 100 kills, and this one getting 212. Surprisingly, the Savage Dogs here getting 100 kills. I did not expect that. And then for my forces, my general just holding out on that hill to the last man. Same with a lot of my Oathsworn. You can see they got a lot of kills there. The Naked Warriors doing really well there. My Guerrilla Swordsmen, surprisingly well. They're actually a cheap unit, so they're pretty cost-effective in my opinion. And the Fierce Swords, they did their job. They kind of soaked up the enemy in the early stages of the battle. Not many kills with my Gallic Hunters, though, unfortunately. And that is it for this battle, guys. So hopefully you did enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.